My name is Christine Guerra Candelaria. I am a parent of a 15-year-old child with a disability, and I am the board treasurer for CDIC. And I will be your MC for this morning. At this moment, I would like to welcome Carmen Ramirez. She's our CDIC board president, to have some welcoming notes. Okay?
Buenos días, bienvenidos todos. ¿Ya tomaron café? ¿Ya listos? Good morning, everybody. It's really, really awesome to see you here every year. This is our 31st CDIC annual conference. Imagine that. 31 años, 30 years of providing awesome, important information to parents and professionals. And so for me, it's always invigorating to be here with you to share information that will help you embark on the journey of discovery, journey of learning for parents and professionals and young adults and students. And so I invite you today to take advantage of the important information, the vital information that we have for you. You will learn about ways to effectively communicate. You learn about awesome ways to advocate for yourself, for your child. I invite you to learn about how you can support your child, how you can support your student, your client, who you work with. You will have opportunities such as that, and there are many other forms of information, fountains of information that you'll have an opportunity to take advantage of. Please do so. That's what we're here for. That's why we're here today. And so I invite you to take advantage of every opportunity so that you can learn and you can feel it like you're getting somewhere and you can reach your goals. I also invite parents to encourage your young child, your teenager, your young adult to be a part of the Youth Leadership Forum. I know I'm sorry, Judy. You guys can come over here and meet with Daniel and he'll tell you about the Youth Leadership Forum. It's an opportunity again for you to grow and to meet new friends. And so again, take advantage of these learning opportunities. We welcome you, we invite you. And at this point, I would like for the Board of Directors to stand up so that we can recognize. And I'd like to introduce our board. Some of you may be aware that besides the annual conference that we provide, we are also mandated by the federal government to oversee CDIC, the Children with Disabilities Information Coalition. We have to have a governing body that oversees the operations of CDIC because we are the Parents Resource Center of the El Paso County, and so we are charged with that duty. And I'm going to start with Andy Soto, board member at large, our president secretary, Martina Mendari, our wonderful secretary, Ariana Casado, board director, Chris Candelaria, our treasurer, and yours truly, President Kathleen Williams. So welcome and enjoy today's conference. Siéntanse.
Okay, at this moment, we would like to introduce from Region 19, Juan Aldradete. Sorry.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to try that again because when you're up here and you hit we just want to pump you up. Good morning, everyone. That's a lot better. That is a lot better. Thank you very much. My name is Juan Alderete, and I'm here with the Education Service Center. The Education Service Center is an entity that works directly with the Texas Education Agency. We also provide a lot of training and a lot of resources, not only to teachers or school personnel, but to parents and community agencies. very happy to be here today, and I'm honored to be standing here in front of you as I look around and I see many familiar faces. Faces that I've had the opportunity to work with you, faces where I've had the opportunity to work out some of the situations that you have gone through, or some of the questions that some of our parents have gone through. But most importantly, I'm here and I stand in front of some of our Youth Leadership Forum participants who have gone through the Youth Leadership Forum. And so I'd like to also put in a plug that the Youth Leadership Forum provides opportunities for our students who are looking for opportunities, who are looking for what their future is going to look like. And it provides them a wealth of knowledge and understanding as to how they can be productive in the work that they're going to be doing and in the future. So please, if you're interested, please look for one of our participants from the Youth Leadership Forum, get informed, and become involved. The last thing that I want to say is I have been in the world of education for approximately 26 years. 25 of those years have been in the area of special education. So it is an area that is dear to me, that I do have a lot of passion for. And so my goal is to be able to continue to work in this arena, to be able to help our parents, be able to help our students, and be able to help our community partners, our educational partners, in having better outcomes for our students. We are in a world that we need to demand more for our kiddos. You know, it's interesting to see that the graduates of 2030, 2031, 2032 are students that are in kinder, first and second grade. And so that's not too far from now. Okay, and so what we need to be thinking about for us as parents who have children with different abilities is to be thinking about, where do I see my son or daughter in 3 months, in a year, in 5 years, and in 10 years. 10 years go by really fast. We need to be thinking about, what is my son or daughter going to be doing in 10 years? They deserve that. We need to provide them with those opportunities, and the only way to do that is if we work together and work in moving in the direction that we want to move in. This is a wonderful conference. This is great that we have so many parents here today. I wish we could pack the house even more with even more parents. And we'll get there. Little by little, we'll get there. The Service Center is here to provide you services and information. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're here to help. I wish you the very best today. A lot of learning. You all, God bless you. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, at this moment, I want to introduce you to our CDIC Project Director, Patricia Santibanez.
Good morning. I am going to ask Lourdes Torres to come up and join me, please. I am Patricia Santibanez, and I am the Project Director for Children's Disabilities Information Coalition. I know it's a really long name, CDIC. I want to thank you guys for coming out here on a Saturday morning. We have a really great conference for you guys planned. We have really good presenters. I want to thank a few people. Ms. Socorro Rodriguez from Region 19, the Head Start building, for letting us have our symposium here again this year. Mr. Juan Alarete, Ms. Leah Wood from Region 19, for helping us with the translation equipment and then the printing of the program for you guys. Do we have anybody here that helped us plan the symposium? Are you on the planning committee for the symposium? I know we have some volunteers. If you're a volunteer, please raise your hand. Can we give them a round of applause? Because this conference, you know, we could not do it without their help. As many of you guys might not know, CDIC is just 2 people. It's just myself, you know, I work the full-time hours, and then it's my partner, Lourdes Torres. And a lot of work goes into planning, you know, and preparing this conference for you guys. So we couldn't do it without the help of each and every one of the volunteers. So I want to give them a round of applause. We also want to thank Amerigroup, and we also want to thank Superior Health for their sponsorship to the symposium, because without their help, once again, we wouldn't be able to do everything that we do at this conference, for the parents. In your bags, you guys have an evaluation that you're going to turn in at the end of the symposium. We ask you to please fill it out and please leave us some comments. Every year, we want to keep growing this conference. We want to keep improving it. We want to hear from you what you guys would like to see at next year's symposium. So please, take the time to fill it out and take the time to let us know, what is it that we need to bring, the following year, okay? So now I want to introduce Ms. Lourdes Torres. She's my other half, the other half of CDIC, and I really could not do everything that we do without her help. I want to tell her that I really do appreciate her and that I'm really glad she is part of CDIC.
Gracias, Pati. Buenos días a todos. A mí me toca darles la bienvenida en español. Estoy muy feliz por eso. Muchas gracias porque están aquí presentes otra vez en nuestro simposio anual. Este es el número 31, pues ya son varios. Viene mucha gente de fuera, vienen de Ciudad Juárez, de Las Cruces, de Little City. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Tengo un mensaje muy importante para ustedes, es que saquen sus hojitas verdes para que visiten a todos los expositores que tenemos. Tenemos una parte aquí enfrente y tenemos otra parte de expositores en el otro lado del salón. Por favor, vayan a visitarlos a todos, porque antes de que se vayan ustedes a casa vamos a rifar los premios en su segunda sesión. Ustedes también tienen en su paquete este programa, ¿sí? Aquí vienen las sesiones, viene nuestra sesión principal y después vienen las breakout sessions, ¿sí? Las clases que van a tener, son 24 diferentes, ustedes van a elegir 2. De aquí las van a elegir. En su segunda clase van a entregar esta hojita firmada por todos los expositores para que entren a la rifa de los premios, ¿sí? Y pues déjenme que les diga que tenemos aquí un par de premios que vamos a rifar en este momento. Quisiera saber quién ha venido por más de 5 años a los simposios, pero que me lo compruebe, ¿verdad? A ver, por acá veo a... Pásale. A ver, pásale. Para que nos compartas qué es lo que has aprendido en estos... ¿Cuántos simposios has estado presente? Ok, como 10. Entonces nos puede compartir en 30 segundos lo que ella aprendió, lo que nos pueda decir de los simposios.
Bueno, buenos días a todos. First of all, I've learned through my work, which I work at Papalote with children with special needs, and I'm also a parent and a grandma of children with special needs. Every time I come, the disabilities are different. I have a daughter with CP, now I have a son who's been diagnosed with autism. So through these symposiums and all the classes I've taken, I've learned the steps on how to look for therapy and all the different services to help my daughter and my grandson.
Necesito a alguien más. I need someone else. Let me see new faces. What CDIC does. ¿Qué es lo que hace CDIC? ¿Qué es lo que hace Children's Disabilities Information Coalition? A ver, por allá, ¿le podemos? Que nos digan qué es lo que hacemos Patricia y una servidora.
Coordinar todas las disabilities sobre el programa de IDEA, porque eso nos ayuda a todas las mamás.
A ver, pásenle.
Muy buenos días a todos.
Mi nombre es CDIC. Muchas mamás de niños especiales me conocen por mi hijo, que tiene síndrome de York. Y yo con el programa y a las muchachas en el Paso las conozco de muchos años. años. Ellas me han ayudado mucho en las escuelas con el programa de CD, porque el programa de IDEA me ayudó mucho y me sigue ayudando. Y cualquier cosa le pregunto a ellas, o estas conferencias ahorita me ayudan con mi hijo por la adolescencia, que es un niño con síndrome de Down y él va creciendo. Y es bonita la experiencia que me llevo y pregunto, porque me sacan de todo lo que tengo con mi hijo.
Esperemos que todos disfruten esta conferencia, es de ustedes, es para ustedes, para que aprendan, que se lleven mucha información, a lo mejor algo que ustedes ya sabían, pero es una recordadita, ¿verdad? A lo mejor tenemos agencias estatales, agencias de gobierno, clínicas, dentales, muchos servicios, y a lo mejor algunos de ellos no lo conocían. Entonces, espero que disfruten mucho esta conferencia. Y pues cualquier cosa, mi nombre es Lourdes Torres, ya saben, en sus programas viene nuestro teléfono, cualquier cosa relacionada con las escuelas, educación especial, acomodaciones bajo sección 504, estamos a sus órdenes. Y por aquí me ven, cualquier pregunta, cualquier cosa en lo que yo les pueda ayudar. Y pues muchísimas gracias a todos los voluntarios y a todos los que nos ayudaron a poner todo esto, a tener todo esto listo para que ustedes lo disfruten. Gracias.
Thank you, ladies. Before we get to our next guest, I do have a credit card here. Somebody dropped it. I'm going to go shopping. Hector Adame. Going once? Going twice? Okay. We know who you are. Darn it, I was going to go shopping. Yeah? Darn. Okay, our next guest will be, is going to be from the Texas Health and Human Services, Lidia Herrera Estrada. Please welcome her to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. Buenos días. My name is Lidia Herrera. I'm the Health and Human Services Commission, and this is my new coworker, Vivian Rojas, and she will be speaking to you in a little while. As I get to tell you over here, we are so thankful for all of you parents and all of you professionals, teachers, everybody that helps us amazing children. Just thank you so much for everything that you do. You are heroes to these children, and we just want to thank you very much. And so, as Mr. Alderete and everybody else has mentioned, this is an amazing source of information conference. You're going to learn quite a bit. So on our end, what we want to share with you is if your children are on Medicaid or should utilize any of our state benefits, please come see us at our table outside. We're going to run one quick video. It's about 2 minutes long, and it'll give you general information. Other than that, we'll talk to you in a little while. Then my coworker will give you some extra comments regarding the programs we represent. Thank you.
If you're like most of us, you've got a lot going on. Between work and family, there's not much extra time in the day. That's why the Texas Health and Human Services Commission created YourTexasBenefits.com. It gives you a convenient way to apply for and manage SNAP food benefits, Medicaid, the Children's Health Insurance Program, and TANF cash help for families. Using YourTexasBenefits.com is easy. You can apply for benefits, upload important documents, check the status of your case, and more. If you're applying for benefits, you'll need to answer questions about everyone in your family who is applying. Be prepared to share information about your identity, citizenship and immigration status, money your family gets, property you own, and bills you pay. And there's no need to make an extra trip to our office. It's fine to fax required paperwork or upload your documents right to YourTexasBenefits.com. In fact, most people who apply for benefits don't even need to come in for an interview. We can usually do it all over the phone. Once you've received benefits, you can use YourTexasBenefits.com to check on your account. The website lets you manage your case, renew benefits, report changes, and print Medicaid cards. Best of all, YourTexasBenefits.com is available from any computer with an internet connection, so you can manage your benefits day or night, whether you're at home, at a friend's house, a public library, or with one of the community partners that helps you and your family. Ready to see what Your Texas Benefits can do for you? Visit the website now to get started. Brought to you by the Texas Health and Human Services Commission.
Okay, so at this time, my coworker Vivian Rojas will give you some information on the part about the Community Partner Program, which is the program we represent with Health and Human Services Commission.
Good morning, my name is Vivian Rojas, and I'm a community support specialist. Lilia and I work for the Community Partner Program. That's a very important program here in the community that works to develop relationships with nonprofits and faith-based organizations so that we can educate the community about the benefits that are provided through the Texas Health and Human Service Commission, such as food stamps, Medicaid, TANF, as was shown in the video just now. And as you heard in the video, they did mention the Community Partner Program. That's who we represent. And one of our partners is the Paso del Norte Children's Development Center. So we work with them. And for example, if a client goes into their organization and they don't feel comfortable applying for benefits with a state office, they can apply there with one of the staff or volunteers at the Paso del Norte Children's Development Center, and they can go to the website, YourTexasBenefits.com, and apply for benefits there. And what we do as the Community Partner Program, we go out and give presentations, such as this morning. We also train volunteers and staff who are designated to help assist clients in applying for benefits. And we're here to offer any technical assistance, any type of information they need, even brochures, pamphlets, whatever they may need to get their clients to apply for benefits and to help them to obtain the benefits that they need, such as food stamps, Medicaid, TANF, children's Medicaid. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all that you do.
Lastly, we just also want to recognize and thank some of those community partners we have, and of course, Paso del Norte being one of them. We also have Project Amistad. Now they go by Amistad, and they're part of in your passport, that great document with the different exhibitors. So we have Amistad, the County Juvenile Probation Office, the Emergence Health Network, and Paso del Norte again. So if any of you is interested in learning more about our services and programs, we visit our table outside. If you want to learn more about the Community Partner Program, maybe a place where you volunteer that you feel this could be a good fit for you for the organization, let us know, and we'll be glad to give you some information. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, ladies. One more announcement. If you were a late registration and did not get a bag and lunch ticket, please meet me at the table at 10:30. That way we can give you your bags and your lunch ticket, okay? At this point, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to our keynote speaker. I hope I pronounced his name right. Told me how to pronounce it. This is LAYNE PETHIC. He is our consultant for Region 19 Education Center. He is a specialist in the autism spectrum disorder, and along with the degrees in elementary education, early childhood education, and reading, LAYNE has experience as a general and special education teacher, school administrator, district training, program director, and in higher education as a professor of special education, assessment, early childhood, and teacher education. He has several articles published and presents local, state, national, and international conferences. At this moment, if you can put your hands together to welcome LAYNE.
Good morning. Oh, all right. Buenos dias. Nice. It is an absolute joy to be back in El Paso. This is my 6th trip to El Paso since August, and it's great. Anytime they ask, do you want to come to El Paso to talk? I look and see when the next flight is I can get out of Dallas. And so it's like one of my favorite places on the planet is here in El Paso. And so you all are seriously some of the best people to come visit and hang out with. So, yeah. And I truly mean that. It's great. Not only that, but you got the best Mexican food in the world. Oh, I have a chorizo and egg taco waiting for me after this is done. So, you'll have to forgive me a little bit. I'm getting over a horrible cold. Anybody have the flu yet this year? Yeah, I figure let's just run its course, let it go. So, so when I come and talk, it's funny to hear people introduce me. It's weird to hear all the stuff I did because basically what I want you to know about me is this. I'm probably one of the staunchest and the biggest advocates for children there are in this state. I think we can do a whole lot better for our children. And parents, it does begin with you. When I get a chance to talk to parents, I jump at it. Parents, when I talk to you, and what we're going to talk about today isn't about, oh, just this, this, and this. I want you to know how easy it is to affect your child's life. There's some real simple things. I'm a brain person. I love the human brain. And when you understand the human brain, you understand the human being you're dealing with. See, they can call your child, they can say, oh, your child has autism. But you know what that tells me? Nothing. But when you can tell me how your child is, who they are, what they like, what they don't like, that's who your child is. And I want parents to get back to this. Parents, it isn't the disability label your child carries. Who is that child inside? Who are they? They're a human being first, before they're a disability. And I want to know the human being. I've been doing this for 26 years. And I started 26 years ago teaching pre-K and kindergarten. Yes. Has anyone in here ever had that experience of teaching pre-K and kindergarten? Oh, I got some people in the house. You want to know if you're good with children? Survive the first day of pre-K. Oh, there's more body fluids leaking out of them that day. It is horrible. There's not enough stuff to absorb everything coming out of them. And so I laugh at people, and so after that I went into special education. After special education, I became a principal. And after that, I became a special ed director. And please understand where I taught. I taught at Edgewood ISD in San Antonio, Texas. I came from Canada to San Antonio. Híjole. And so, for those of you thinking if I know much Spanish, I actually understand about 60% of what people say to me, but I cannot speak it back unless it's the swear words. I learned the swear words first because those are the first things I got thrown at me when I showed up in San Antonio. And so, I'm just going to share with you some stuff today. If you look at the screen, it's the brain, behavior, and learning. And as parents, and even the educators that might be in this room, or whatever capacity you serve with children, I'm tired of us trying to buy programs and therapies to get ourselves out of trouble. Quit. It all starts with what? Us. And until you understand your children and how their brain does what it does, you're not going to be much help. And that's what I try and tell people. I spend hours with every kid I work with, and the thousands of kids I've had the pleasure of working with in my career. They've taught me what I know, not my college degrees. I got all those wonderful college degrees that are pretty much useless because whatever they told me in college, I went to see a kid and he taught me otherwise. Children, you don't learn how to work with them. And so when I go around and talk to people, I go back home to Canada several times a year to do all this stuff. I work in a country called Vietnam, where they take children with disabilities and put them in the jungle facilities and put them away. And so we're working in that country to bring them out of the jungle and get them back in with society. We've been doing this for 3 years. It is my life's work to do the best we can for kids, all the time. And so I'm going to share some stuff with you today. Parents in here, here's what I want you to do. I want you just to start thinking about your children different today. After I talk to you for the next hour or so, hopefully my goal is, it isn't to tell you what to do as a parent, but it's to get you to think differently as a parent. Think about your kids a bit different. think about that disability they put on your child a bit differently. And so, to get started, I like to walk. That's why I like my computer back there, so I get to walk all over the place. Being up on a stage is awkward to me. So just understand, I'm going to do the best I can. Hopefully I don't fall off the edge of this thing. But here's what I'm going to share with everybody. If you take a look at all your screens in here. Health does not always come from medicine. Most of the time it comes from peace of mind, peace in the heart, peace in your soul. And it comes from love and laughter. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about something called humor coming up. You realize laughter is the most medicinal thing all human beings have on this planet. It is more medicinal than most pharmaceutical drugs. What is the one thing we don't do enough of, especially in this country right now? Laugh. We're the most serious people I've ever seen in my life. And so we're going to talk about some things like this. How do we get better with this for our kids? And so I tell people, here's our time together. I always have to put a blanket apology. Usually when I talk, you'll find out I don't have much of a filter. I blame that on my Canadian roots. In Canada, we just say what we need to say and let's keep going, because people don't have time to mess around. We keep fluffing stuff up and it makes me sick. Let's deal with stuff as we need to deal with it, because it's our children that kind of sit and wait for us adults to figure out a nice way to say things sometimes. And our children don't have time. Our children need us to be quicker on things, and be upfront about things, and to say the things we need to say. And so, I apologize if at any time in the next hour and 15 minutes I make you feel kind of inside. You ready? You get a good Canadian apology in El Paso today. Sorry. Housekeeping, parents, teachers, everyone sitting in the seats. Let me start teaching you the first thing about the human brain. You ready for this? As soon as you guys sat yourselves in that seat, your clock is ticking. Adults in here, your clock has a 3-minute time limit. Anybody under the age of 15, they have a time limit of 30 seconds. Here's how this works. As soon as your body sits itself down, after 3 minutes, adults, your body sends a signal to your brain that says the motor stopped. Start conserving energy. And so what happens is, what I'm saying is, everything from the neck down is the motor for the neck up. And when the motor stops, the neck up, which is your brain, has to shut itself down to conserve energy. So after 3 minutes of just sitting, your brains are already starting to shut down. And the places they shut down first is this part up here in the front we call the frontal lobe. What it does is start shutting it down first, and that's the part you need to think, to learn, to do things. And the funny thing is if you don't do something to wake it back up, here's what you look like in about 45 minutes. So here's what I'm going to tell everybody in this room, and it is a big crowd. Kudos to El Paso. You guys can pull out parents like nobody's business. No, I'm being serious. I've traveled to countries, and every time people say, so where's the best parent turnout? I'm like, El Paso. Sometimes people might say, where's that? I'm like, it's in Texas. Kind of Mexico, but mostly in Texas. And so as I tell you this, please understand, I need you guys to do this. If your body and brain start telling you, oh my goodness, we're starting to go to sleep, wake yourself up, get up and move. Please do me that favor. Just move. It's okay. If you need to stand up and walk around the back of this room, I'll probably join you. It's all right. It doesn't bother me, because when people move, it tells me your brain is listening. Parents, I'm giving you some advice. Sitting your kids perfectly still to do their homework is killing them. Stop it. Let your kids move. Let them stand. Let them shift. Let them do a question and walk away and come back and do another question. Parents in here, the longer your kids sit, the harder it's going to be for you. And I'm just sharing this with you because these are the things we need to know about the human brain and how it works. Sit and get, worst way for the human brain to learn. The human brain cannot learn by sitting still. It has to have movement in the body in order to learn. And so, here's rules I have. Are you ready? Here's the rule part. I'm a behavior guy. So I work for Region 10 down in the Dallas area right now, and I do autism, but I also do behavior. I love the behavior world. The behavior world is my favorite. And please understand, the kids I get to work with, they're the tough ones. I used to do a stint when I was in Edgewood ISD in San Antonio. I used to spend time in the juvenile jails working with their kids who were incarcerated, the gangbangers, the drug dealers. My favorite group of human beings. I thoroughly love them. You know why? Because once you know their life, where they came from and what they had to deal with, I have a lot of respect for them. I don't respect what they did, but I gotta respect the fact they survived. And we don't give our kids enough credit sometimes about the survival things they gotta deal with every day. How do you survive? What do you gotta go through every day? There's this thing called trauma that affects all of us in life. And it affects our kids to a higher rate. You know how we talk about PTSD for our military? We're ignoring the fact that there's probably more children who suffer from PTSD in this country than there are military people. We need to pay attention to this stuff, because it is something we gotta concern ourselves with for our kids. And so, enjoy yourself. I hope you laugh. The more you laugh, the better and the healthier it'll be for you in here today. You're welcome. So can I tell you a little secret? On average, does anybody want to guess, on average, in one day, what is the average rate an adult laughs? I like the kids in the front, they're like, 0. Adults, what do you think? What is the average rate that you laugh per day? I hear 3, I hear 10. Do you know what it is? In the United States, on average, adults only laugh 4 times a day. Yeah! Most of you have done that just talking to me in 10 minutes. You're welcome. Now guess how many times a child laughs on average during the day? 400. Adults, we are a horribly sad bunch of people. And so, you have to have a sense of humor. So everybody in this room, I'm trying to get over to this side more, but I'm worried about the ledge. So, I've already bugged them enough. I woke you. They're like, oh my God, you keep staring at us. So I gotta go over to this side. So here it is. Raise your hand if you have a sense of humor. Yes! Okay, hold on. Ma'am, you right there? Right there. Yes, you. Stand up, please. When I said raise your hand with a sense of humor, she almost came out of her chair. Oh! I like that. Other people are like, eh. So let's try that again. Raise your hand if you have a sense of humor. Very nice. Parents in here, you better all raise your hands. Your kids are funny. Seriously, you met your kids? Oi. How many of you have teenagers? Okay, hold on. Anyone who has a teenager in here, keep your hand up. We'll try and be quiet so you can get some rest. All right. You have to have a sense of humor. Here's why. I don't think people have explained it to parents. See, when you have a child, before you leave that hospital, parents, they should be telling you a whole lot of things they don't tell you. Yeah, not just how to change a diaper, get a bottle ready, blah, 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 the yearly well check. They need to tell you about what humor does for your child. They need to tell you about what your stress does to your child. And so these are the things I get to fill in the gap on for you today. It is vital in this room, if you have children, or if you are an educator, that you have a sense of humor. Because here it is. You have a time limit. If you are struggling and you have stress, there's a time limit you have with your child before that stress and that demeanor and that attitude starts affecting their brain chemistry. And we're going to talk about that today, but I got to share with you. How many of you have ever read Reader's Digest? Oh. So when I grew up in Canada, I grew up a lot of time on the farm with my grandparents. Grandpa wakes us up at 4 a.m. to do chores. I did the chores, he drank his coffee. So we broke up to do chores, and he drank his coffee, and I got the Reader's Digest scooted in front of me. I wanted coffee, I was too young. So here it is. In Reader's Digest, I read this thing called Laughter the Best Medicine. Did you ever read that section? Yes! And as a kid, I was like, why do they say laughter the best medicine? It makes no sense. Now I completely understand it. And I'm going to show you a video on how powerful humor is to the human soul. Humor is vital to us as human beings, laughing and enjoying. And so, just sit and watch how powerful humor can be.
People ask me all the time, Michael, what was your big break?
Our next guest is performing on Comedy Central's premium blend.
He made his first appearance on The Tonight Show from Montreal Comedy Festival.
You see him on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
That was the big break. The big break was at a club, and right before I got on stage, I had a change in mindset about comedy. Normally when a comedian gets on stage, he wants to get laughs from people. And I felt a little shift take place, where I felt like I was to go up there and give them an opportunity to laugh. Now I'm not looking to take, I'm looking for an opportunity to give. This changed everything. My name is Michael Jr. I'm gonna do some jokes. Ultrasounds come in color now, which is ridiculous. I know it's a black baby. It better be a black baby. I leave the club that night, and there's all these people giving me hugs and high fives, telling me their favorite jokes. Then I looked across the street and I saw a homeless guy. And I thought to myself, what about him? Most comedy, most jokes are set up. My son, 4 years old, looks at me out of nowhere. And he says, Dad, I'm gonna be a doctor. I was like, yes, yes. And then a punchline. Then he said, or a dinosaur. I understand that me doing comedy and doing all of these TV shows and making all these people laugh is really just a setup. My punchline is to make laughter commonplace in uncommon places. We go to Montrose, Colorado, a place called the Dolphin House. They take care of children who have been abused by their parents. And his grandmother explains to me that her grandson is being abused by his mom. He's so afraid of his mom that everywhere he goes, he wears a Spider-Man costume. So I get on stage, I'm sitting right up front, Spider-Man. I start doing comedy, people start laughing slowly but surely. Probably about 25 minutes into it, I hear a voice, and the voice says, my name is Ronan. And this little boy pulls off his mask. And it was one of the most powerful moments in my entire comedy career. If we could just stop asking the question, what could I get for myself? And start asking the question, what can I give from myself? I think people would learn that you don't have to be a comedian to deliver a punchline. It's really what I want to get across to people. And I think I just did. I looked at the camera again, I don't know if I was good.
So, you can see just how powerful humor can be for a human soul. And it isn't about always having to be happy, but a little more happiness, a little more laughter, a little more joy. It is very healing to the human soul, to the human condition, and to our physical bodies. And so what I'm going to start with, and I just decided to do this morning. I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm going to put this in there. Parents and teachers in here, everybody who works with children in here, here's what I want you to do. I need you to find something to write with and write on if you possibly can, please. We're going to do something called Give Me 10. And I started this actually years ago when I was a special education teacher at the elementary school. Because parents, how many of you love those ARD meetings? We're here at your child's ARD meeting to discuss his IEP with his FIE. You think he qualifies AUSI? We might need to do an FBA to see if he needs a BIP. And it used to be, I would go around the table and ask people, tell me this child's strengths. And here's what I'd get. And it would just make me come unglued. How is it we as a collective group of adults are sitting at this table to help this child, yet when I ask you what strengths does this child have? Crickets? That makes no sense to me. Yeah, we can rattle off what they're doing wrong. We can rattle off where they're having problems. We can rattle off, oh my God, but they can't read. I don't care if they can't read right now. What can they do? Parents in here, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to know what your child can do rather than what they can't do. Because if you want to help them, the only way to help a child is to know what they can do anyways. Because we build on strengths. We don't build on weaknesses, we build on strengths to offset weaknesses. That's how the human condition works. And so what I'm going to do right now is this. For all my parents in here, I want you to think about your child right now. Or children. Teachers in here. If you have other kids in your classrooms or whatever, I want you to think about them. And I want you to think about which child or children struggle the most. Here's what you're going to do for me. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to a minute. I want you to write down 10 positive strengths your child brings to this world. Are you ready? You need to write down 10 positive strengths that your child brings to this world. Go. I like the students in the room. They're looking to make sure the adults are doing their work. They're all like, all right, wherever you are at your list, just finish it up real quick on that last one. And so, I'm going to ask for a raise of hands. Anybody in this room in that 30-second span, did you get 10? Raise your hand. You did. Anybody get more than 5? Raise your hand. Nice. Anybody get less than 5? Probably got one. Oh, there you go, somebody. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to share a story with you. So about 4 years ago, I was doing a parent training in the Dallas area. I did this same activity, and this mom had one thing written down after 2 minutes. I gave them 2 solid minutes to think about their child, write down 10 strengths this child brings to the world. And in 2 minutes, this mom got one thing written down. And I looked at her, and I pulled her aside afterwards, and I said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" She goes, "No, because all I ever hear about is all the negative stuff. It's hard for me to see my child in a positive light when every time I talk about my child or go somewhere, it's always, they need to do this, they got to better at this, they don't do that, blah, 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 their behavior, their academics, blah, blah, blah." She says it's hard because then I get frustrated at home and I see my child through this negative light all the time. And so I said, "Well, ma'am, to be honest with you, disappointed in you." I flat out told her, I am disappointed because you know what? Being the only advocate your kid has, you only got one thing. And if his advocate only gets one thing, this poor kid doesn't have a hope. And she kind of got upset. I didn't mean to make her upset, but at the same time I did because parents, you are your child's first advocate. You will always be your child's first advocate. You know your child better than anyone else. And I sat there and I'm like, man. And so I told her, I said, "Ma'am, do me a favor. I want you to take that index card." They wrote it on index cards for me. I said, "Please take that index card home with you and keep adding to that list and add as much as you can to it through the years." I never expected her to take it home. I did not. 3 years later, I go to a parent training, another one. She shows up, this same parent. And out of her purse, she pulled out a stack of index cards with 75 positive traits of her child. She says, "Mr. PETHIC, I did my homework." And she says, "I understand who my child is now. My child isn't the disability they keep telling me. My child isn't that set of things that they can't do. My child is actually this set of things they can do. Look at all they can do. When I finally look at my kid, look, and I said, fine, congratulations. I am proud of you. I am proud for your child that now he has an advocate in his corner too who knows what to tell people. Knows how to tell people, hey, you know what, I get they can't read, but you know what, here's the other things they can do. Hey, I get the fact that they threw a chair at your head yesterday. Put a Band-Aid on it, but here's their strengths. These are the things we got to look at, because if we just view our kids in that negative lens, it doesn't get any better. And I've made people come into the ARDS, and I've made a lot of people mad, including my administrators. But I told my administrator, I'm not having another ARD meeting where when I ask for strengths, I get 0. So I tell people, you're going to come to the ARD for this child. Whoever comes to this ARD for this child needs to be able to rattle off strengths before they rattle off anything else about this kid. Because if you're not focused in on that, and all you're worrying about is, well, my child has autism. Well, yay, good for them, but do you know who they are and what they can do? Because if you don't, then you're missing the boat. And it's an interesting thing to see. My child has Down syndrome. Great. But what are the strengths too? I love kids with Down syndrome. Oh, they can teach us all how to be ornery and stand our ground. Oh yeah, they're great, I love them. And so there's just a lot of things, and so Give Me 10 is one of those activities I try and get people just to start thinking. Parents in here, think. You know what, these are your kids. And I tell you this, I fight for kids all the time. I have 2 kids of my own. Mine are grown and gone, 26 and 24. Parents, it is a beautiful time when they leave the house. You know, people are like, oh my God, it's empty nest. I'm like, no, get out. And so it's funny because I have parents say, but Mr. PETHIC, I don't know if my child will ever be independent. Well, that attitude, they're not going to be. No, I'm being serious. I have worked with some of the most severe individuals with disabilities who are living in assisted living homes doing very well for themselves because they had people behind them who believed them and pushed them. You see, believing in someone means more than anything else. You think I can do it? I'm going to try and do it. But I can tell when you don't believe in me. My kids in here, you can tell when the adult doesn't believe in you. Yeah, they'll be the first ones to agree with you. I love that I got students in here and younger people in here. They know. It's like when you show up and somebody acts like they're happy to see you. You ever been in that situation? Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Well, tell your face. So it's interesting to see. So what I'm going to do is there's another short video I have, and we'll continue on some more brain stuff here. But I just want you guys to think about your kids differently today.
I want you to turn to someone sitting near you, next to you, and look them in the eye, and this is what I want you to say. When I look at you, I see blank. Okay, 30 seconds, go. You're going to look at me and say, Mr. Blank. When I look at you, I see blank. Okay? Now I go. Alexis, when I look at you, I see me. Where am I looking? I'm looking in their eyes, deeper than that. Where am I looking? Their brain and their heart, we're getting closer, yes? Where? Their soul, we're getting really close now. Where's your soul? Inside. That is your first challenge for today. Stop looking at people on the outside and say this out loud. Look on the inside. And here's where you use this. It's really hard to look at someone who doesn't look like you and see yourself in them. My children don't look like me. They look like their mom. They look Asian. They look Filipino. They have black hair and brown eyes and Asian skin. They're tan and they just don't look like me. My son Justin, he likes anime and Justin likes wrestling, WWE. What you need to know about Justin, though, is that he has autism. And he's awesome. He's kind. He's compassionate. He's caring. But he doesn't understand where he fits in socially. He can't look people in the eye. He doesn't know how to interject himself into a conversation. He doesn't know where he fits in. When Justin was in middle school, he used to come home from school every day, and I would ask him, "Hey buddy, where'd you eat lunch today?" And he would say, "Daddy, I ate home." He still does some days in high school. Justin looks like all of you guys, and he is just like all of you guys. Not here. Here. And there's a difference, guys, between being alone and being lonely. No one here is alone. We're all in the physical proximity of people. But there are people sitting in here who are lonely. Lonely is a feeling. Lonely is toxic. Lonely is dangerous. It leads you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. A lot of times unhealthy things. About five years ago now, Justin learns how to skate, and 8 months goes by and he gets invited to play. He wants to play on a rec league team with typical kids, with regularly developing kids. And the last game of the season, we were losing. It was 8-3. It was about 3 minutes to go, and I'm in the bleachers. There was a face-off, and Kyle takes the puck, and he passes it to Justin, and Justin skates in, and he takes a soft shot, and it goes off the goalie's pad. And he gets the rebound, he stuffs it in the goal. And the kids are going crazy. And I'm crying. I'm like melting the ice with my tears. And so I went over to the opposing team's bench. And I reached out my hand to their coach, because I knew what he had done. And I said, "Thank you." And he looked right at me. He looked right at me. And he said, "Don't thank me. Thank the boys." And they were 10 and 11 years old. And all they did was let a kid score a goal. But here's the takeaway. They had no idea how they would affect that kid's father that day. They had no idea that that kid's father would go out and tell that story to over 100,000 kids. And I don't think you're too young to hear that message. And so I say that to you. Your life is not about you. Your life is not about you. Your life is about...
That was my bad, sorry.
all the people you love and all the people that love you. That's how you source your life. Live your life like that and watch your life change. It's amazing what happens.
So, I need to share with you the reason why. I decided to show that video for one big reason here in El Paso. It's the first place I saw this video. About 2 years ago when I was here for the Autism conference, there was a group of students who their message to the whole crowd was, look inside. You realize that group of students probably had the biggest impact on my life than any other training I've ever been in. It was a group of students from different schools with disabilities here from the El Paso area telling a group of educators, can you look inside? Because it is what's in here. You see, sometimes when it happens, you put a label on a child and all we see is what? The label. And there's so much more. There's so much more beyond the label that our kids are. You know what, I might have autism, but you know my strengths and what I can do for this world? I might have ADD, ADHD, but do you know my strengths? I might have an intellectual disability, but do you know my strengths? I'm telling you right now, I'm going to share with you, people with Down syndrome are some of the most gracious, amazing human beings to walk this earth. And I love it. If you're having a bad day, go find somebody with Down syndrome and hang out with them for a while. If they don't help you cheer up, you need some serious therapy. And I'm being honest, they're probably some of the most beautiful human beings that have ever graced us on this earth. But sometimes we don't see it when we don't look past it, or what they do, or this disability they have. And so I try and tell parents, you've got to look deeper with our kids. And so parents, I'm going to share some things with you this morning. And I have to walk. I don't like being up on a stage. I hope you don't mind. I know I'm short. It's probably really hard for people in the back to see me, but I'm still here. So, here's what I'm going to tell you. Parents, and even educators in here, but I'm talking more for parents today because I want parents to understand, what can you do at home? No matter the disability, no matter the severity, what do we as parents need to do for our kids every day? You're taking a look at it. These are the big three for brain development, brain strengthening, and brain maintenance for human beings. and they are simple. Parents, listen very carefully. Parents, it's play, it's nature, and it's talking. Those are the three things your kids need from you to the highest degree you can give it to them. Play, nature, talking. Parents in here, raise your hand if you have a child who is newborn to about age 6. So all those parents who have newborn to age 6, you need to play with them as much as you can. Take them outside as much as you can. And talk to them as much as you can. Because it's for brain development. Those are the three biggest things to help children's brains develop from birth to age 6. It actually isn't academics. It isn't anything like that. It is literally play, nature, and talking. And by the way, talking, not baby talk. From birth to age 6, their human brains need you to be the exemplar for language, which means full sentences. Good language. Not, crisscross applesauce. No, please sit down and listen to mom or listen to dad. Please use good language structure with them. Their brains at that age are just soaking it in. Play, 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 play. It was the greatest thing ever. Back when I was teaching and I'd go to the middle school, we had a young lady who was in a wheelchair and she was not hurt. Her motor function was limited. She had her G-tube and tray tube. We had to change her diapers all the time. She was the sweetest thing on the planet. And nobody thought she could communicate until we started playing with her. We started making her laugh. You could see the corner of her mouth smile when we were doing stuff and we were bugging her. We'd bug her, just play with her, and she'd smile. She started actually grabbing our fingers to tell us, I like this. She was able to now start communicating. But we're also developing her brain. We're playing, we're talking. We got her outside. Going outside is incredible for the human brain. And you guys live in one of the best places ever to go outside. What do you got, sunshine 390 days out of 365 a year? It's like on a banner at your airport somewhere. So here it is. How many of you have children age 6 to 19? Nice. If you have children age 6 to 19, they need play, nature, and talking to an extremely high degree to strengthen the neurosynapses in their brain. So what happens is all these little synapses start connecting in the human brain when we're small. To strengthen those, I need play, nature, and talking as much as possible to make them strong. If I don't get them, my ability to learn diminishes a lot. It's harder for my brain to learn things if I don't get play, nature, and talking. Parents, do you see what I'm telling you? Parents, I'm telling you, play with your kids. Take them outside and talk to your kids. It is the 3 best things ever for your children. It isn't hard. It's what we should do by nature as parents. And how many of you are older than 19 in this room? All right, for everybody who's older, I like people aren't admitting it. I know most of you are. I didn't ask you for your specific age. That would be rude. So here it is. Everybody in here who's older than 19, we need play, nature, and talking to a very high degree for brain maintenance. If you take play, nature, or talking out of your life at any rate, your brain actually will diminish quicker. So, play, nature, and talking. What are the 3 things that we're losing in our society right now? Play, nature, and talking. People don't talk. Here's what they do. You ready? Holy. I saw a family sitting in a restaurant not too long ago. They're all sitting around a table together, not talking, doing this. Whoa, no. That's a bad deal for our kids. And so there's some things to discuss. So I'm going to share something with you real quick, and I'm going to get you guys up to do something for me. Here's some numbers in the United States. Notice in the background it says come out and play. Parents, this is very important for you to understand. We're going to talk about nature right now. Being outside. And what a great place to talk about it when I'm in El Paso, Texas. Because more than anywhere else in Texas, you can be outside more than anybody else. And so here's the numbers we have. 1,440 is the number of minutes in one full day. In 24 hours, there's 1,440 minutes. For optimal brain development, for optimal brain strengthening, for optimal brain development, all school-aged children should be outside playing 210 of those minutes. 3.5 hours, roughly. How many of your kids get outside for 3.5 hours a day? That's what I thought. Oh, by the way, adults, if you're curious about yourselves, adults, our optimal for brain maintenance the rest of our lives isn't 3.5 hours. Ours is 2 hours a day we should be outside for us adults. So here it is. This next number, 1,368. This is the number of minutes on average children in the United States spend indoors. 95% of their day is spent indoors. Which leaves this last number. On average, in the United States of America, children are only getting outside roughly 72 minutes a day. It is 1/3 of what is recommended for their brain. You do realize being outside is good for you in another way? How many of you have stress? Anybody? Yeah. You know the best thing for stress? Go walk by a plant or a tree. Plants and trees, greenery, will lower your stress automatically about 10% just being near it. If you're really stressed out, touch it and interact with it. It keeps lowering your stress rates. So being outside is great for our kids. So, my piece of advice, I put this thing in the background because it reminds me of what I did to my son. So I might have did something similar with my son going down a driveway at one time. And so when I saw this, I'm like, oh, I gotta put it in there, because I used to get my kids outside all the time. And my son just learned how to sit on, parents, they still got the training wheels, but they don't know how to stop. So my daughter's trying to get me to do something. My son jumps on his bike and scoots on down the driveway, right into the bumper of the car across the street. I know, Dad of the Year moment. So, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I gotta put that up there. But get outside and play with your kids. You knock off you get play and nature at the same time. Go play with them. And it's good for you too. Parents, it's great for you too. It's great for that brain of yours. You can help each other's brains by doing this with each other. So, people who know me, you know I'm going to do these with you today. They're called strong brain activities. Parents, there's a list of activities that we've developed. So when I go home to Canada, the last 5 years that I've been going home to Canada, we've been working on what makes children's brains stronger. How do we get those synapses to build up? How do we get them stronger in our kids? We found out it's really simple. And parents, it's simple for you to do these too. They're like 20-second activities you can do at home with your kids. And they're actually fun to do. We call them strong brain activities. And just a caveat, I know some of you might have heard me talk about this, but back home in Canada, in some of our schools, we had some brain scan machines in some of our schools. Oh, it's greatness. I think parents would call every now and then, can you scan my kid's head today? I just want to make sure. And so, these are called strong brain activities. Every time you do these activities, what happens is it fires off the neurons in your brain, and it makes them stronger. When your neurons in your brain get stronger, you learn quicker, you process faster, and you can utilize the information better. So you want to try something. So here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to take you through a little bit of these strong brain activities. It's called I Bet You Can't Do This. So I need everyone in here to stand up, please. If you're unable to stand, you can stay seated and try. But if you can stand, please do so. Here's what I want you to do. stretch. I love this part. People stand there like, all right, give me a minute. Go at it. Stretch it out. All right, ready? Put your right hand out in front of you. Point with your index finger. All right, you ready? Yes. Rotate your index finger clockwise. As you're rotating your index finger clockwise, try and rotate your wrist counterclockwise in the opposite direction. All right, nice, very nice. All right, put your hands out, ready? Rotate your neck, stretch your neck out, just roll your neck. As you're rolling your neck in that direction, inside your mouth, roll your tongue in the opposite direction. So if you look like you're catching snowflakes, it doesn't snow in El Paso. We're gonna be like, All right, last one, you ready? Take your right foot, you can hold onto a chair or a table, and just make a circle on the carpet going clockwise with your right toe. Make a circle. As you're doing that, hold out your right hand with your pointing finger again. Now draw the number 6 in the air. Nice, have a seat, you're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I were to take you right now and send you through that brain scan machine that we have in some of our schools back home, your brains would be lit up like Christmas trees. And they'd be lit up because just getting you to do those activities for the last 20 seconds fired off your neurons and took them to the gym. It worked them out. It is that thing. Everybody trying to rub your stomach and pat your head at the same time? That's what strong brain activity. It's a great thing to do and they're easy. And parents, it's great for your children's brains. It literally fires off the neurons by doing activities like this. And so it's a great thing to do for our kids to help with their brains. You see, what I tell people is this. In our society, we've mistaken good grades for being smart. Let me repeat that for some of my parents. You do realize, just because you get good grades does not mean you are smart. That's usually the silence I get. And here is why. Your brain just warehousing knowledge doesn't make you a smart human being. Your brain has to be strong too. And there's a lot of people, about 20% of the population, when they're born, their brain is just wired to warehouse knowledge easy. That's usually our A students. Doesn't make them smart. What makes them smart is having a strong brain. Because when you build up the strength in your brain, now you get to know how to do coping, self-reliance, resiliency. You know how to manage your emotions. That in turn makes a smart human being. How many of you met those people who are like straight A people? They got their degrees everywhere. They have all these accolades, but they're like dumb as rocks in real life. They're like no common sense. Yeah, they're not smart people. They just warehouse knowledge. That does not make a smart human being. And I try and get people to understand that because I will tell you my pet peeve about education. It's been my pet peeve for years. I do not care if you ever get a bumper sticker on the back of your car saying your kid's an A student. Number one, no one cares. I mean, I don't. We don't. But here's the thing. That doesn't make that student smart. I have children who have severe disabilities, who struggle every day with life, who are way smarter than my A students in a school. Who have to persevere through things every day that make the other student go fetal and suck their thumb. That's a strong human being. That is a smart human being. It isn't about grades. And it makes me sad that that's what we've revolved everything around. Grades. It isn't grades. Because ultimately, parents in this room, here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't care what your kids' grades were, and technically, out of school, the rest of the world doesn't care either. What we do care is, what kind of human being is your child? Are they a good human being? What are they going to do for this world? What's their purpose? And those are the things to look for our kids. And so I'm going to share some information with you about some kids that we've been doing research on. And parents, this is for you. Parents, some things I need you to think about today. Our brains, everyone in this room, we all share a lot more in common than we have differences. I wonder if you know this already. In this room right now, collectively, as a group of human beings in El Paso, Texas, we all share more commonalities than we do differences because of this thing up here in our head. And I wish people could understand that. Because here's the reality. All of our brains crave interaction. Problem is depending on how my brain is developing, it doesn't know how to do interaction. I need someone to help me with the interaction. But it does still crave interaction. You know, autism always comes up on this one. Oh, they need help with social skills and all this stuff, and they don't want to be social. No, that's not necessarily it. They want the interaction. They just don't know how. And because it gets so frustrating, it's just easier not to sometimes. You know, people always think we have to teach our kids on the spectrum social skills. I beg to differ. I think they already have their social skills, but the way the brain works, you need to teach me how to use them differently. I already got them. Quit telling me how to say please and thank you. I get it. But teach me how to do it the right way. And so there's this reality too of sometimes I think we just inundate our kids with stuff too. And so they want interaction, but guess who they crave it from? Who do children crave interaction from the most? Who's the number one person on the planet? Parents. And when I see parents, their kids, they hardly see their kids through the day because they're going to that therapy, this therapy, all these other therapies, yeah. You're losing out on time with your kids. Your kids need the interaction from you first as a parent. Guess who's number 2 in their life? Teachers. Yes. Then they need the higher degree of interaction from teachers. That's what their brains are craving. But when one of those two groups doesn't give the interaction the way they want, they do have to get it from somewhere else. And so there's this thing we're looking at the human brain, regardless of the disability, there is that craving of, I need that interaction. I need that connection. I need that, but I need it from my parents first. And mom, dad, I might fight you on it. I might scream and holler. I might walk away. And it isn't that I don't want it, it's just I don't know how to do it. The way my brain is set up, I'm not sure how this works right now, and I need you to kind of stick in there with me. Educators, raise your hand in this room, please. All my educators in this room, tell me if you've seen this happen. You'll have a kid at your school who will just completely destroy other teachers, but there's that one person who can walk up and say, hey, quit it, come here with me, and they stop what they're doing and follow that person. Why is that? Because that one person did what? Gave them the genuine time they've been seeking. It's an interesting thing. People go to behavior trainings all the time. I keep telling people, behavior's easy. Whoever gives that child the most genuine time is who the child's going to attach to. It really is that simple. I've seen it for 26 years in this career of mine, and I've worked with the toughest of the tough kids in the state. And whoever provides them that most genuine time, not time, genuine time. You see, child might be with you for 30 hours a week and me with 3, but because mine's more genuine, they'll attach to me first. It's an interesting thing how the human brain works with this. And this is beyond and regardless of disability. This is the human brain. This is one of the commonalities our human brains does share. And so children's brains get that beneficial interaction from parents, number 1, teachers, number 2, and then everybody else follows in line. Parents and teachers in this room, I need you to understand right now the huge impact you have on children. It is more than what they probably ever let you on. The effect you have on children, your own children, is huge. How you take care of them, how you interact with them, how you work with them, how you deal with things when it gets frustrating. There's a lot of things to look at and consider. And so the thing of it is that last bullet, lack of interaction from my parents or lack of interaction from my teachers can be very detrimental for the rest of my life. And we know this full well, what can happen. That interaction, if it's not coming from my parent or my teacher first, there can be detrimental effects to the rest of my life. Because that's what the brain is craving. That's what children's brains want. And I understand, so parents in here, let me share with you. I was basically a single dad raising my kids. I'm going to tell you right now, I had days, I was not beyond plugging in the VHS tape of Little Mermaid and letting my kids watch it like 9 times to get them out of my hair. There are times where we are stressed out as parents, correct? There's times you're just like, I'm throwing in the hat, I'm done. Don't know what else to do with you today. You know what? Just don't do any harm to yourself. Just don't bug me no more. But there's that thing of, it's also about how we talk to our kids. Parents in here, do you ever share with your kids that you're having a hard time? You know what? I would tell my kids all the time, look, Maddie, Tate, Dad is having a rough day. I am not in a good mood. And I don't think you need to be doing this right now. Share with your kids you're not in a good mood. Share with your kids you're having a rough day. You know why? What are you teaching them? It's okay to have a bad day, but here's how you do it the right way. You realize the impact you have. And by the way, parents in here, you know those behaviors that we seek everywhere to get help with? Has anyone ever told you how long it takes to change your child's behavior? Do you have any idea how long it takes to change your child's behavior? Let me fill you in on this, parents. You get a perspective of it. And by the way, don't care what the behavior is. If you're not the first person in line to deal with it, it's never going to work for you. Parents, I'm going to lay this out here right now. You can send your kids to any kind of therapies you want. If you're not the first one in, when that behavior occurs, you are going to struggle with that behavior the rest of your life with that child. Parents, I'm telling you, get in there first. Even if it's like, oh, I need you to stop, and you can't get anywhere, as long as you're that first one in. And then get help on the back end of it. Because to change your child's behavior, human behavior is a form of addiction. And so you're trying to break an addiction and change it by teaching another behavior. You can't just give your kid a sticker or a prize when they do something good and then punish them when they do something bad. That's not how you fix behavior. You have to teach behavior. Okay, instead of doing this, what do you want me to do? Start teaching me those skills. Do you know why? Do you know why I continually scream and throw things around the house? Because that's all I know how to do right now when I hit this point. You haven't taught me anything else. So teach me something else while we're trying to work through this. Do you know how long that takes to teach that new skill? How long do you think it takes to teach that new skill to your child when you're changing behavior? Latest brain research shows anywhere from 1,200 to 5,000 times. There's the reaction I was looking for. Everybody's head just went, oh. But think about it. 1,200 to 5,000 times. That's a lot. And that's just to get me going with learning this new skill. That's behavior. That's how difficult it is. And the longer it goes, the harder it is to change. And there's another behavior that we're getting out now, too, in society. Parents, I share this with all parents I talk to. Can I ask what time it is? I'm sorry. I'm not even paying attention. Oh, good. I got some time with you guys. Yeah. You're like, oh, hang in there. We got like 15 minutes. We're good. All right, here it is. Parents, the reason why I share this is because I want you to know. There's this thing out there that I always tell people. Sometimes people are scared to tell parents what you need to know. Parents, you do realize you scare some people, right? It's hilarious. I love it. I love when a parent walks in and everybody's like, oh, she's here. I'm like, yeah! Go, girl. Do it. I used to love my parents. My parents, they'd call them the tough parents. Oh my God, they're my favorite. I made friends with the tough parents first because you guys were the best. Because you know why? I admire the fact. Whether what you're asking for or not is needed or not, I admire the fact you stood up for your kids. I liked it. I don't have a problem with it. You can be mad at me, mad at the school, that's great, but I like that you're even mad. Why? Because you're passionate about who? Your kid. Yes, miss, jump out of my seat because I got a sense of humor.
And it's better when you bring an advocate.
Well, yeah. Make sure you get a good one. And so here's the thing. Parents, I need you to understand some things about your kids too that you need to do. It isn't just about schools having to fix problems or therapies fixing problems. You do realize first line of defense for anything with your child is who? You. And I'm not scared to tell you. I'm a parent. I know this full well. I can't rely on the rest of the world to fix my kids. I can get help, but it's not their responsibility to do it. They can help me do it. It's not their responsibility. And so when I get information that I think is important for parents to know, I'm going to share it with you, and this is it. It seems like a lot, it looks really boring, but let me whittle it down for you. Narcissism. Anybody ever hear of narcissism? Yeah. It is like it's like a huge version of entitlement. Here's the problem. Narcissism is increasing in our children in this country. It's increased by about 58% in the last 5 years. Do you know what causes narcissism in children? There's actually only one thing that causes narcissism in a human being. It's a disengaged parent. When parents are disengaged with their children, you create narcissism. And disengagement is this: when you have the opportunity to interact with your child, but you bypass it for something else, that will increase the likelihood of narcissism in your child. So let me explain it to you how we see it in society right now. I go to Walmart or Target. In the basket is a child. In the child's hand is what? Phone or a tablet. Rather than interacting, you give them a phone or a tablet. You do realize every time that happens, you actually increase the likelihood of narcissism in your child. Because your child, regardless of disability, knows when you have the opportunity to interact with me, but you bypass it for something else. That's disengagement for parents. And I'm telling you right now, parents in this room, it is horrific right now, what I see. We go to restaurants, kids are on tablets and on phones rather than discussing things with their families, than interacting with their families. Parents, you do realize that interaction time you have is vital to your child's well-being, but also their behavior. Because here's what happens, especially for parents in here from birth to age 6. Human beings are born narcissistic because we have to take care of ourselves. And so parents, from birth to age 6, I'm going to do all I can to take care of me, but if I have good parents around me who are always involved, what are you doing? You're teaching me to do what? How to do it the right way. You're involved, you're leading me, you're showing me this is how you behave. This is how you do things when we go to Walmart. This is what you do, and you step by step and teach me those things. If you're not there to do it, you just put a phone in my hand, I now have to teach myself, which means I'm going to do whatever works for me, and then that's going to be my life. So when I show up at this thing called school and teachers start telling me, hey, you need to sit here and do this work, I will throw a walleye fit on that teacher. Or when you tell me to pick something up at home, no. Or I will just go absolutely crazy on you when you try and make me do something I do not want to do. It's called narcissism. And we are seeing it explode with our kids right now. And yes, parents, you are the group of people I have to talk to about this. Because you are the group of people that can help offset it. Share it with your friends who got kids. It is vitally important for our society and our kids nowadays. We have kids who have entitlement issues that are disgusting right now. I get what I want because I'm here. Nah. Parents, the word no is a wonderful word to teach your kids. Oh, but he doesn't like it. He melts down when I tell him no. Right. Go to Walmart, go to the toy aisle, wait 10 minutes. Scream no. You got kids melting down everywhere. My kids do not have a disability, so to speak. They did not grow up with a disability, but when I told my kids when they were young no, guess what I got? Screaming and hollering in the middle of Walmart or Target. Screaming and hollering in a restaurant. But as a parent, we got to be strong enough just to sit there and deal with it. I don't care if Joe Public stares at you, because I've had it. It's like, you ever get that? Don't you just want to look at those people and say, you either help or keep shopping? Seriously. I did in-home training and my first group of kids was 2 twin boys on the spectrum. Mom just wanted to go to HEB, or as they say in San Antonio, Chibi. Mom just wanted to go to Chibi with her kids. I'm like, well, let's go. She's like, nah, I can't get them out of the house. I'm like, well, challenge accepted, let's do this. I spent better half of 8 months getting those 2 twin boys out of that house into the parking lot of HEB. I spent another 3 months getting them into HEB. Then I decided to switch it up and take them to Walmart. My bad. I thought, we got HEB now, let's do Walmart. Mom's like, no, sir, no. Like, come on, man, let's do this. Like, we got Walmart, I'll meet you there. So we got the boys to Walmart. We get in the Walmart aisle. I put tape on the card handles so they know where to hold their cards. They got their list that they're going to shop for because we're getting groceries. So I told Mom, make them shop for groceries. But they can't. No, they will. And we got them. Well, we didn't plan on other children who weren't being managed. And we're going down the soda aisle. And one of these kids comes tearing around the corner and bumps into Jose. Híjole. Jose lost his mind. And he pretty much knocked off every soda bottle there was in that aisle. There was soda. By the way, parents, if a soda bottle falls from the second shelf or higher, it will explode. There was soda all over the Walmart. And it was funny because well, you know what Mom did? So Mom was there with me, and I'm standing there, and Mom, I went to look at her, she's gone. She was 6 rows down. She's like in the technology department peeking around the corner. And I had the public, I had all these people walk by me like, and Mom was like, manage your kids. I'm like, honey, they're not mine. And I did actually tell one mom, if you're not here to help, keep walking. She's like, well, you're rude. I'm like, you stopped and stared at us. You're the rude one. The manager was awesome. He came over, he's like, And so I had to explain to him what I was doing. He goes, you know what? We need more people like you in this world. Don't worry about a thing. We got you covered. He actually gave Mom a $25 gift certificate to come back. Yes, we went back. We didn't go down to the soda aisle. We went down the chip aisle this time. But please understand that disengagement is big. Parents, if you're going to be disengaged, and oh my God, just take your phone because I don't want to deal with you screaming while we go out to eat. Well, how are they ever going to learn how to conduct their life if you're not going to teach them how to do it when they're in a restaurant? Parents in here, especially parents of children with autism, I'm going to be honest with you. I run the world of autism, and I'm tired of seeing kids where I have autism. You realize most of the other world, they don't care. Walmart's not going to shut the lights off for your child because of their sensory issues when they go to Walmart. We have to teach them how to deal with these things in life. It's only what we got to do to get our kids ready. They don't get a free pass in life. None of us do. But how do we get them ready for what life has for them? And it takes little steps. I'll tell you what, right now, those 2 twin boys, God, they're like 28 now. Boy, you hold it. They actually live on their own. They don't go to Walmart anymore. They do like Chibi. So It's awesome. So here's the reality. I'm just sharing this with parents. But here's a strong brain activity before I end off today. I didn't get through half the stuff I wanted to, but you guys are so much fun anyways, I don't care. So, here's what we're going to do. Hold out your hands like this for me, please. It's called the lazy 8. It's like an 8 laying on its side. So you're just going to make it with your right hand. Just make an 8 that lays on its side. For some people, it's the infinity sign. So there's your right hand. Try your right hand. Very nice. Look at you conducting an orchestra. I love it. All right, stop. Try your left hand now. Just try and make the lazy 8 with your left hand. All right, stop. Ready? Both hands going up. You good? All right, stop. Right hand goes up, left hand goes down. Nice! Very good! Woo! Again, something simple like that, do it with your kids several times a day, it fires those neurons off. And it rebuilds those learning synapses that may be weak. They're great stuff. And so, I believe I'm out of time, right? I got 10 minutes. Oh, nice. I still got 10 minutes. Stress. Anybody? Do I need to explain stress? I have a room full of parents. Parents, how's your stress level right now? Have I raised it any? So here it is. Last thing, and then I'll one more video, and we're going to wrap it up. Parents, I need you to understand this for your kids and for you. 3 levels of stress. Positive, tolerable, toxic. Usually what we're finding out, a lot of our kids with disabilities or different abilities carry a higher level of stress than anybody else on the face of the planet. And why is that not good? Because when I sit with higher levels of stress, if I don't have people around me to help me bring it down, it actually causes brain damage and it causes physical damage to my body. One of the main things physically that stress causes is it actually scars your blood vessels, which causes strokes and heart attacks. What it does to your brain, it actually kills off brain cells and it damages neuroconnectors in your brain. But what I want to share with you to make it real simple is this. Parents and educators. I put in here in education. I should have changed it to just everybody who is an adult. Here it is. If your child is newborn to late elementary, your magic number is 8 to 10 minutes. If your child is from middle school, high school, or if your child is an adult, your magic number is 12 to 15 minutes. Here's what this means. Remember when I asked you if you had a sense of humor, right? Here's why. If you do not have a sense of humor, parents in here, let's have a very serious conversation. Parents, if you cannot get your stress under control, if you cannot get your demeanor calm and in the right place, you actually start affecting the brain chemistry of your children in these time limits. So if you are a parent of a child who's newborn to elementary school age, if you're stressed out around them or your demeanor is in a bad way around them for 8 to 10 minutes, you automatically start affecting their brain chemistry. And it is not a good thing. It actually fires up the amygdala and all the emotional stores in your child's brain, which puts them on edge. Oops, sorry. And it makes them get really anxious. But worst of all is it actually, if they're in that, if you're always stressed out around them, and it's an everyday occurrence, you will actually train their brain to live up that side of their brain. They will not be able to rationalize and regulate their emotions. They will just live in this area all the time. You will actually do that to your child if you don't get your stress under control. This is a serious topic for parents especially. Educators, I tell educators, but parents, I mean it with you because you are the most important person in that child's life. And parents, we tend to deal with more stress than most anybody else when it comes to our children. Doctors, medicines, visits, all this stuff. Parents in here, if your children are middle school or adult, up to adult age, 12 to 15 minutes and you start affecting their brain chemistry. Same thing. You can retrain their brain to live out of that very basic brain of just reacting to everything and not knowing how to regulate my emotions. Parent, everybody in this room, have you been around somebody who's in a bad mood? Okay, when you're around somebody who's in a bad mood, how do you start to feel? Yeah, here's something I'm going to tell you. You be aware of it, because as soon as you're around somebody who's in a bad mood and you start feeling weird, guess what they just did to you? They have now affected your brain chemistry. They're releasing chemicals in your body that go straight to your brain that are now affecting you. Get away. It's an interesting thing. Parents, this is your time limit. You got 8 to 15 minutes to get yourself right. If you can't, tell your kids what's wrong, why you're in a bad mood, and tell them up front what you're doing and how you're feeling. I don't care if your child's nonverbal and people say their IQ is 23. Do not care. Still tell them. I get tired of that too. It's like, well, my child doesn't understand. How do you know? Tell them. At least give them a heads up. Give them that shot. And so, as I wrap up today, you should see all the stuff I was planning on for you. See, look at that great stuff. Great, oh yeah. Lovely. I put this last part in just because what my plan is I'll send this whole thing to the CDIC folks. So you guys, if you want, you can maybe email them, get a copy of it or whatever else. So what I put in at the end of this that I knew I was never going to get to was screen time in the brain. Talking to you guys as parents about what that screen is doing to your children's brains. I knew I was not going to get to it, but what I also put in there is the levels of addiction to screen time that you need to pay attention to with your kids. So I put that in there knowing I wasn't going to get to it, but it's extra information for you as family when you're around kids and what the screens are doing to them. Phones, tablets, all that stuff. So to end it all off, my favorite part of everything. Ready? What are the 2 most important days in a human being's life? The day you're born, that's number 1. What's number 2? Boy, some of you are morbid. The day you die? I'm not looking forward to that day. I like life right now. No. Here it is, parents, parents, parents. Educators you can listen to, but this is for my parents. Parents, the 2 most important days in your child's life, the day they're born, the day they find out why they were born, when they find out their purpose on this earth. Parents, your job as a parent, find out your child's purpose. How are they going to do something on this earth? What are they going to do, and are they going to love it? How are they going to affect things on this earth? What is their purpose for being here? You've got to help your kids find this. And I tell them it's your why. Parents, why we do what we do, it's because of our kids. We do what we do because of our kids. We know what to do as a parent, but why we do it is because of our kids. So I'll end up with this last video, and then I will say adios. I might know more than just swear words.
How do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The questions you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. And so every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's, you know, it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm going to show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, you know, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what should give you the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Okay. Here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
So, as I leave today, remember your why, parents, educators. Your why are the kids. And in our job as parents and educators to help our kids find their why. Why are they here? What are they meant to do on this earth? And get them going. I wish you all the best of luck in everything you do, and I absolutely appreciate being here today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. We have a couple, Carmen, our board president, she wants to do a quick presentation.
Let's give LAYNE another round of applause. Wasn't that awesome? Woo! Is everybody going to practice the brain activities today? Let's do that. Yeah, thank you. This is wonderful. I'd heard good things about you, but they underestimated you. This is awesome. I am really grateful and thankful for LAYNE and the rest of us are for you having to have wonderful information that we will certainly take advantage of, right? So LAYNE gets the certificate of appreciation from us, humble but from the heart. And grateful recognition, LAYNE, of your presence and contribution to CDIC, Children with Disabilities Information Coalition. And he's helping us empower ability with all that he did, all that he taught today. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it.